Okay, so how is information technology transforming marketing?
I'd say there's four key areas that you're seeing transform immediately and in the near immediate future. So let's start with knowledge. The knowledge that we have about customers is changing significantly. That first began with big data and being able to just gather masses of information about masses of people. But we're also starting to see through data points such as sensor data and interactions that we're getting now to very specific information about the individual. How they sleep, what their health is, what their heart rate is, what excites them, what they're looking at in stores as we track them through their entire lives. So we're getting a lot more knowledge about both the profile of the individual and the nature of a group of individuals. The second one would be connection. Our ways of getting in touch with people has significantly changed. That through applications and that sort of thing, and and through smartphones, the fact that we're available at any point in time. So that ability to connect, and of course the key aspect from a marketing point of view has been social media and our ability for companies to have conversations with individuals. A secondary effect of that is our interaction, that the interaction is changing. So as companies try to have conversations with individuals, of course there's staffing and scalability issues with that. That's why they're looking at chatbots and machine learning and artificial intelligence to try and smarten up and automate these conversations. What's the best conversation? Let a machine work it out. Have a chatbot respond to you in a Twitter or something like that when you're complaining about your flight being late. Let somebody get a response to you straight away rather than waiting for a human to have to be connected into the conversation. Let that happen later. That will change marketing, and an important aspect for marketers today is to understand that they need a lot of data before the chatbots, before machine learning can actually be effective. So you need to be capturing data today, even if you're not planning on applying sort of machine learning for another year or several years in the future. Then the final one that I think is the most significant one is a sort of more recent change, is around privacy. Individuals and groups have been very happy to share all of their information with companies and sort of trust that it'll be okay. And then as people's identities have been exposed, they've realized that's not the case. The best example right now in 2018 is that with the EU introducing GDPR, which is a new set of laws that the European Union is putting in place to protect your privacy and to in fact empower you to own your own data. So you want your data removed from a site, that company has to remove your data from their site. Not only that, but they have to flag specific individuals, certain executives, they have to sort of name as contacts for you to reach out to and get rid of that data. So the data that we've been collecting to date quite freely, and we've seen spam emails, we've seen these sorts of things, and we've seen some constraints on it, at least for companies operating in the EU. This year, that's about to significantly change.
Okay, so it sounds like marketing is really one of the big recipients of this big brother type data. So basically that data is being used to do better marketing. A question about these chat bots. So when I'm on a website and they reach out to me and start to chat and have a conversation with me, that might not be a person?
Absolutely. And generally they'll acknowledge that it's not a person because today they're pretty dumb. So it becomes obvious fairly quickly. But even without that, it's just that those initial interactions, again, if they can observe successful interactions over 6 months with real people, then they can use that and apply it to machine learning to best guess, what response you're looking for and what's going to have a happy outcome for you under certain circumstances. So I think marketers need to be looking at not machine learning as a whole spectrum, that's a very deep technology area, but just looking at which of our interactions are repetitive and simple that we can then apply, a machine learning algorithm to, and it's likely to deliver a valuable outcome. And you're going to reduce all of those help desk calls and everything else. It's a cost-saving measure.
Amazing. So through technology, marketers and even customer service, like you said, are giving companies a lot more information in which to have better interactions, more efficient interactions then.
This is lead to, in the sales mode, this is lead to op to close of just like, what is the most efficient path? What is the workflow that works best? We've always asked that question and we generally do it manually. We generally do it of looking at sort of quota achievement or something like that. Whereas with sufficient data, we can tune down that process to go, this is the best way to respond to somebody when they're first looking, they first come to your website. This is the next response you should take. This is now the path you should take them down versus just a generic, we treat everybody the same. You're going to be able to know a lot more about the customer and the customer group from outside data.
Wow, truly data-driven marketing strategy and tactics in this case.
Absolutely.
Great, thanks for that.
You're welcome.